Hey Ravens fans, this is the Week 8 report preview for the Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins. Short but sweet, but as we all know, I think we're going into this game. Looks like all the receivers I think are listed in, I think besides Griff Whalen and another guy they got, Kenny Bell, I think is his name, are listed on the injury report. Mike Wallace, Jerry Maclin, and Brashard Perriman listed as questionable. As you all know, Mike Wallace and Perriman are going through concussion protocol as of today, which is Wednesday, but have not cleared concussion protocol. Odds are they're probably not going to clear it by tomorrow. I think they had to clear it at least a day before. I don't think they're going to clear it by tomorrow. It would be nice if one of them does, maybe. But doesn't look like it. So they're probably without Wallace and Bashar Perriman. But it looks like Macklin will probably go ahead and play. I think he definitely needs to play where the Ravens are right now. Home game Thursday night, must-win game. They're 3-4, cannot afford to go 3-5 against a one of the worst offenses in the game. And it's funny that we're saying this now in Week 8, but the Ravens and the Dolphins are sporting the worst offenses in the NFL right now. So don't expect a lot of fireworks from this game. It's going to be probably very low scoring. For the Ravens, the game is, especially for the defense, they haven't played great in the last 3 weeks against the Steelers, the Bears, and now the Vikings. Have not played they played well in the second half of the Bears game, but they still gave up over 140 yards. The Ravens defense wasn't able to stop Latavius Murray in that game, and then of course the Steelers ran all over him with Le'Veon Bell. So it's been a struggle for the defense. They haven't been able to get a pass rush at all on anybody's quarterback lately, and it's starting to show. Even though the secondary, I think, has done a great job, minus Eric Weddle and Tony Jefferson, they've had their issues with deep plays. There have been a lot of deep throws go past them. So I really believe a lot of guys are just playing out of place right now. Guys are trying to make plays and then getting caught. There doesn't seem like the defensive coordinators or the coordinators in general, offense and defense, are putting the guys in the right spots to make plays. And it just doesn't seem they're performing the kind of plays, like at least the complex blitzes and the stunts and the twists and things like that. And offense, with Ndamukong Suh going to be in this game, this guarding the middle of that line, the way that offensive line has looked the last few weeks, they're going to get pushed around. And I'm afraid that Ndamukong Suh is going to go in there and he's going to destroy Flacco a couple of times. Flacco might get injured in this football game because Ndamukong Suh has a very long mean streak. He's very notorious in the NFL for getting dirty hits. And I'm afraid that Flacco could be a victim of one of his hits this week. And so this is going to be a game where, you got it. Martin Warrenberg is playing for his job this week. If they lose against the second worst offense in the NFL compared to us, it was right behind them, Marty Morningwig has got to go. I understand that, a lot of fans say, well, Perriman's out and Macklin's out and, Wallace is out and all these guys are hurt and we don't have any offensive linemen. We don't have this, have that. That's a bunch of crock. Everybody is dealing with injuries. We just saw Carson Palmer, Arizona Cardinals, go down with a broken arm. Aaron Rodgers is out for the season with a broken collarbone. We saw the Redskins lose their left guard, Sheriff. We saw the Eagles just this past game also lose their left tackle and Aaron Hicks, their middle linebacker. So I want to hear. And then when we played the Vikings, they had, Adam Thielen was their wide receiver, and Laquan Treadwell, who's been pretty much a bust since he was drafted there. He hasn't done much of anything. Stephon Diggs is their guy. He was out. They don't have any premier backs. Latavius Murray has always been a spell back in the NFL. And so has Jerick McKinnon, And you look at the Ravens; they had Case Keenum as their quarterback. They didn't even have a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL. At least Flacco has had starting experience for a long period of time and has won playoff games, and they beat the Ravens. So I don't want to hear that from fans or that say like, "Oh, it's the Ravens deal with injuries. Every team deals with injuries." It's those that are well coached and on the coordinator and head coach side that overcome those injuries and end up still staying competitive and win football games. Now, a lot of Ravens fans will say, this is They're still in it. They still got time and things like that. But this is a time right now at 3-4 where they're in panic mode. The Ravens offense has not looked good. I could understand if the Ravens were losing by 3 points and it was like 20-23 or 35-30 and things like that, where they were still putting up points and being competitive. They're not. Teams are getting the lead early on in the games and they're just coming out in the second half and running the football on them. And the Ravens, if we've seen this offense, cannot play from behind. They have to score early. They have to keep the pace, and they have to set the tone. So that's what we're going to have to do this game. I mean, we've been saying each week, but at the end of the day, that's what we're going to have to do for this game is they're going to have to set the tone. They're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to be a little bit more creative on offense to get somebody else the ball to try to make some playmakers out of these guys. They're going to have to. Now, things are, said, very limited because I think Flacco is, as a quarterback, is limited to how much he can actually do when it comes to making changes at the line, calling audibles, and checking defenses. He's a 10-year veteran now, and it seems like guys like Carson Wentz, who've only been in the league for 2 years, seem to know more about the position than Flacco does. So, he is what he is. The Ravens are stuck with him for at least another 2 years because of the cap. So they got to work with what they have. So whatever what Kubiak showed in 2014 is that he created a formula for Flacco in that offense to succeed. Okay, they still didn't have an elite wide receiver then. If they did, I think it was Steve Smith, but he was already aging at that point. So we've been through this. The Ravens have been through this about never having an elite receiver, but they've won championships without them. Okay, Anquan Boldin, when he came here, was not his Arizona Cardinals self. Torrey Smith has always been a complimentary wide receiver. So they never had a number one guy like that. So I don't want to hear that we don't have an elite wide receiver. You look at Tom Brady, they don't have the best wide receivers in the world, but they make it work. Bill Belichick, as much as everybody hates him, and I don't like him either, but at the end of the day, you got to give the man Tom Brady credit. They created a system in which they can perform as an offense and score points. He's throwing to guys like Chris Hogan and Danny Amendola and Wes Welker, who I think retired now, and other guys. These guys wouldn't even be starting on any other team at those roles, but they work with what they have. They don't have anybody that's over 6'2" or anything else like that, but they work with what they got. And they don't have an elite running back either. But Tom Brady is able to, and Bill Belichick are able to create a game plan for that offense to make themselves efficient and score points. So that's what the Ravens are. They need to stop hiding behind, and Ravens fans as well, need to stop hiding behind the fact that, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have this. The league right now is very mediocre. So a lot of teams are in the same boat right now. It's just those that are better, well coached are going to come out on top. That's where it is right now. When you got everybody that's pretty average, the ones that are better coached are going to end up rising to the top and taking advantage of those situations. So this is a make or break moment for the Ravens this season. If they lose this game, I feel like there's going to be a downward spiral. And then they'll go into the Titans game after I think a 10-day rest, and then they'll go in and probably lose that game as well. When it comes to Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray, the running backs they have there. Then they got the bye week, and that's when things will start kind of settling in for them. The Steelers will probably go up 3 games to everybody else in the division and kind of be out of reach by that point for the Ravens to catch up. So this is a must-win. They have to win this football game. Now, does it change the season around if they win? No, I think it depends on how they win. I think if they go in and they struggle in this game and they eke a win out, I don't think it changes the forecast for this team. Are probably going 8-8 or 7-9. But if they go into this game and they figure out an offensive game plan and they strike first and they look good on defense and things like that, get a pass rush, and things just go well all together in all facets of the game, then I think maybe they have something to look forward to. Let's say in the middle of that pack with everybody else. But this is a game they must win and they must dominate. They cannot eke this win out. That offense is terrible for the Dolphins. I expect the Ravens defense to step their game up this week and get some confidence back in themselves and get some pressure. They're at home. Don't anticipate there being a lot of fans there because of poor play. No one's paying that kind of money. Those ticket prices to come see this kind of product on the field, especially if it's going to be fairly cold tomorrow night in Baltimore. So I don't expect a lot of fans to be there, but the Ravens have always dominated the Dolphins, and they need to continue that streak. If they go ahead and lose against the Dolphins, you can spell the end for Harbaugh and his crew. So, prediction for this game, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I think the Ravens dominate this game. I think they get it together finally in this game somehow, some way. make some plays. I think they win this game 28. I say 28-10. I think the defense. I think they just dominate on fast because they have to. And the reason I'm making that prediction is because they have to. If they don't, if it's just a 13-10 win, like I said, they still got problems. So I think Ravens win this game 28-10. Get a few turnovers. I think Flacco throws for a couple touchdowns. Running game gets a couple touchdowns, and I think they dominate this game. But yeah, that's the key. They gotta keep They gotta make sure keep Flacco away from Ndamukong Suh. Do what you got to do on his line to chip him or something to make sure he can't get to for Joe Flacco. They got to create some faster routes for these wide receivers to catch the ball and make plays upfield. They got to get rid of the dump off passes. The NFL, these teams have figured them out, figured the Ravens out. They know that's what they go to because now they're holding linebackers there, just waiting for them to do that kind of stuff. I think for this kind of game, the Ravens need to go to a split back kind of formation where they'll have like an Alex Collins or Javarius Allen back there and run them both outside. And that way they go out for routes. That way it keeps the linebackers honest because they'll cover these two guys so they won't blitz as much. So maybe providing a little bit more time for Flacco to make some plays. And try some plays downfield. They got to get some chunk plays early on and often. They've realized now, I think, these last few games that they can't just dink and dunk it for the entire half and hope something happens and just kick field goals. That these are the kind of games they're playing right now. The offense they have, they got to score touchdowns first by any means at this point. It's got to score touchdowns. The field goals are not going to cut it anymore. So that's my prediction, 28-10. And that's my little spiel for right now. Please subscribe at the bottom of the page to my videos and everything. I said I will be doing my live from the hammock during the game as well. I'll be in and out because I'll be a little busy during the game, but I'll keep tabs on what's going on and hopefully do a little special live from the hammock on Thursday night for those who are watching the game will still be up. But anyway, that's my little spiel, and thanks for watching. Peace.